Make sure you have a calculator and you're ready to go. This is page 125. It says weighted mean way at the top. And you will recognize weighted mean questions almost immediately. Okay. So weighted mean data points are not all of equal value, right? Data points are not all of equal value. That's important there. For example, a teacher might assign different weights to different parts. Follow now, okay? Different weights to different parts. So assignments might be worth 45, quizzes 15, exam 40. In this case, each data point is worth a percentage of the total. Okay? It's worth a percentage of the total. And here's where I'm going to add a little note here. I'm going to try to help you out as much as I can. So just take my advice, okay, when I give you this note here. When you notice a table, okay, with percentages, right? Check to see if the row or column has a sum of 100%. That's what you want to check. Hey, there's percentages. Let's see if they add up to 100%, because they're not always going to add up to 100%. Okay. If so, we divide our sum by 100. And this will make more sense later on. But just make sure you have that written down for now. That's just a disclaimer. And here's an example right off the bat. Tables are quite popular, but not always. But let me translate this for you. This could have been a question saying, Janice earned the following scores in the different categories as you see on the table. Calculate her average score, her mean score. Okay, that's what we're after here. But you notice that there's a category of the actual score on the different components, and there's also a weight. You see that? An assignment is worth 15%, 20%, 25%, and exams are worth 40%. I know this is somewhat redundant, but let's check to see which one of these rows, if one of them adds up to 100%. So you grab your calculator or you do mental math, it's up to you. I'm going to add up the top because I notice it's percentages, right? That adds up to 259%. So don't worry about that one. Okay? The bottom, you go 15 plus 20 plus 25 plus 40. It does add up to 100%. So you know that in this scenario, you will divide by 100. Divide sum by 100. Make sure you make a note of that. Okay. So how's this going to work, Mr. Dirksen? What are we going to do when we get a table or something like that? This is what you do. This will earn you a mark right here. You will multiply them. You take both numbers that are lined up like this. It could be a column, a vertical, or a horizontal, but you just go ahead and multiply them. Okay. And so we calculate, I will go weighted mean I will go 45 times 15. I put that in brackets, plus 39 times 20, brackets, plus 85 times 25, in brackets, plus 90 times 40, brackets. That's going to earn you a mark right there. And you need to divide this whole thing by something. What are we going to divide it by? I just gave it away already. 100. Yes. So let's go ahead and figure out weighted mean here. You grab your calculator, you go 45 times 15. That's 675. 39 times 20, 780. 85 times 25, 2,125. And then 90 times 40, 3,600. All of that, don't forget, all of that divided by 100. And now what are you going to do? You add up the top. You get 7,180. Divided by 100. So you go, you take your value that you just added, don't clear it, just divide it by 100. And so you get a final mark of 71.8%. We're just going to leave it exactly as is, okay? That's the final mark using a weighted mean situation. That's exactly how my mark book works, right? It takes, like as you're writing your tests, oh, there's no tests here. But anyways, midterm, like as you're writing your test, I have like a, you start scoring and that adds up on the test category. Then it multiplies it by the weight, right? So if you have your ACs, your quizzes, your tests, and then there'll be the exam at the end. It does the exact same thing here. Exact same thing. So this is the weighted mean, but look at what it says here. Calculate Janice's average score if every category, average score of every category weighed the same. There's a typo there, right? It's supposed to say weighed the same. Okay. So if every category weighed the same, we don't have any weights. Every single like exam, midterm, quiz, assignment, they all average the same. So this is how you do that. It's just average. We take 45. Watch where my pen is. 45 plus 39 plus 85 plus 90. Okay, so you just add up the score you had in every category, but do not worry about the weight. So how many values did we add? 4. So this ends up being, if you add this up, you get 259 divided by 4, which is going to be equal to 64.75. This lead is getting on my nerves. So do you notice that there's a difference here? Why is the weighted mean higher than just taking the average of everything you've done? It has different weights. So watch this. You scored 90 on the exam. If that's the heaviest, 40%, right, compared to all the other ones, this one is going to actually be good for you to use the weighted mean, right? It's going to bring your average up. But if you make everything worth the same, right, if you only get 45% on assignments, right, that's actually, like if everything is worth the same, it's actually going to bring you down in this case, because as soon as you do bad in one, that's why ACs, if you mess up on ACs, It's not the biggest deal because it's only worth 10%, right? And so, but if you do bad on tests or quizzes, it's going to affect you more, right? So the higher the weight, the more you want to focus on doing well on it. Okay, keep going. Let's go to the back here. And I want you to figure out, I want you to work on page 127, both of those questions. We're going to skip 126 for now. Apply what we've just learned to these two tables. You do the exact same thing on your own now, okay? I just want to clarify the units real quick. To determine the units, you need to watch this. What are you multiplying here? What the top here, did you check for the 100%? You did, right? Because if either one of them, if you have percentages and you don't, it doesn't add up to 100, we don't divide by 100. Okay, so that's the key here to success. The top wasn't even really percentages at all, so we didn't need to check. But when you multiply these two, this is device, right? Devices, and this is percentages. So think about it this way. When you multiply devices and percentages, right? You multiplied them the whole time when you were multiplying it this way, right? What did you end up dividing by? What is the 100 in? What units are they in? Percentages. So you're basically dividing by percentage. So these two cancel out at the end, and all you're left with is devices, right? So that's why those are the units that you end up keeping. Here, same thing. We have dollar amount and percentage, right? So if you multiply a dollar amount by percentage, and then at the end you realize that this adds up to 100, you divide it by percentage, you're left with dollars, right? And so your answer is in dollars. You found the average income, or wait, spending for that. Does that make sense? The unit cancellation? I don't think we often think about it that way, but that's what's happening, right? Okay, so you figured that out, but there won't always be tables, guys. Tables are easy. We love tables, but there won't always be tables. So what do you mean, right? I mean something like this. Let's go to 126. 126, that example there. No table. You should still be able to figure that out. So read it. Let's read it together. Okay. Frida earned grades of 85, 72, 65, and 90 on 4 tests and 1 term in the math class. If each test were worth the same percentage of her final grade. Yes. Just drop after, she said, right? Before you go home. Okay. So if everything is worth the same, pay attention. A, we would go 85 plus 72 plus 65 plus 90. It's like, what is this called? The arithmetic mean. Okay. Divided by 4. Is this the same as the backside? You won't know. 312, no, it's different. 312 divided by 4. That's 78%. Okay. So it's the same as the one on the previous page. I was going to do a backwards example. Probably not going to happen. Not going to happen. But what if they put a twist to it? What if her term mark for the first test is worth 10%, the second and third are worth 20%, and the last one is worth 50? Can you imagine a test worth 50% of your grade? Well, that you're going to have that university. Trust me. If you go university or college. So this is, now we call this the weighted mean. Okay, it's still an average, but we call it the weighted mean because we're applying weight. So the first test will be multiplied by what? What's the first test? It's worth 10%. Plus, the second and third test are the same weight. So I'm going to go 72 times 20% plus 65, which is the third test, times 20%. So they both weigh 20%, right? Plus the last one, 90 times 50. What are we going to divide this by? It's always 100 for a test, like a final grade, it's 100, right? So there's no table, but it still works the exact same way. 85 times 10, 850, right? Plus 72 times 20, 1440. 65 times 20, 1300. Plus 9 times 5, 45, right? So that'd be 4500, like that. Divided by 100. Add it all up. 80, 90, sorry, divided by 100, that's 80.9%. When it comes to, let me see here. Yeah, the weighted mean in here is not, you don't have enough yet for you to do this on this workbook. So I'm just gonna say this. When you're done writing these notes here, some of you are, most of you are, I'm just gonna go through here what you can work on already if you want to on your own time. So let's keep flipping here. You can do all of these are repetition. So let's pause it there. I will take the workbook. Yeah, I need to revamp this book. I'm going to ask you to go to the workbook and try questions 4 and 5, pages 4 and 5. That's what I'm going to assign for you to do. Okay. Pages 4 and 5 in the workbook. That is dealing with trimmed mean. Okay, trimmed mean in the workbook. Outliers and trimmed mean. So I'm going to post the key to that, and we'll leave weighted mean. We'll just park it there for now. But make sure you have it on your study sheet on how to do it, right?